Hey there, Wayne Defrancesco here, and you can see by the screen in front of you that we're looking at the swing of young Anthony Kim. Put on a great show at the Masters with a beautiful back nine rush. Didn't quite make it all the way there, but boy, it was exciting to watch. Now, take a look at his swing. Actually, the more I watch it, the more I think that this is the best action on the tour right now, which is pretty heady praise, but I'm going to show you a couple of things that I really like about his swing. So when we look at a swing, I'm always looking at the lines, see how the club moves on the plane, how the body moves. So we're looking at the plane and the pivot motion, looking at the sequence and the rhythm and tempo. And let's take a look, see what he does. Now the camera angle's pretty good here. It's maybe a little bit out toward the ball, so the club will appear to go a little in, but camera's pretty good and pretty steady. So you can see the takeaway just about up the plane line. Hands are in slightly toward the body. That keeps him right on top of the plane. I like that. Now these numbers, if you take a look, so we started at 52 and we went up to 57, and then we get up to the top and we're at 60. So that's a 5 and a 3. Those are Hogan numbers, so it's not surprising that when he swings, if you compare his swing with Hogan's, you'll have similar looks. Since they're similar size as well, you'll have similar looks as the left arm angle and the height of the hands. Now you can also see one of the things that I like to talk about in the swing is how the backswing compresses down. You see the lowering, and then when he starts down, there's another bit of lowering in the forward swing right there. Now, the camera definitely moved around a little bit here, but when this thing comes down, it's going to be very close. See the forearm pointing at the ball. It'll be very close to the plane. And if you look at the hips, what I like to call back in the box. So these are all hallmarks of really good swings as far as I'm concerned. Another thing that I like to show my students is the almost surreal movement of the head in the downswing. If you watch this movement, it almost looks like his head's chopped off and just floating there in space, because it just absolutely does not go anywhere. It just stays right in the box until the impact. If we look at the swing on the right, get an idea of the sequence. I saw this with Ricky Fowler's swing. Watch the lower body move as the club continues to go backwards, and what you see is all the muscles up in the left side around here are going to be torqued, and you watch them twist. So the hips are initiating. You can see the rotation, and we'll see the push here in a second. So what I like to call a 45-degree push or drive from the right instep toward the left heel is going to get the club started forward. So if we look, here's a driver swing. You'll see much of the same idea here. Club's going back. There's the set into the right foot, and then boom over to the left. And you see the hips initiate the forward swing and pull the club toward the ball. Now something interesting about this swing, if you look at his feet, it's one of the few guys that you'll see with his feet actually slightly pigeon-toed in. I hardly ever see that. So that's something different. He must have put that in to keep his legs more stable, keep himself from opening up a little too fast. But again, the head movement I really like. It's so quiet. So it takes a lot of mobility to keep the brim of that hat facing dead forward like this, and then on the way down to keep it there, and then right as he hits the ball, watch it turn right with the body. So that allows him to really freely flow right through the thing. So I got a nice shot of him at the Masters. So if we look at this is a nice still camera, so if you look at the body movement, you'll see a little jog to the right, which is again typical of good players, a little bit of an athletic move to get started, and then there's the forward push of the hips. So there's the average sort of 3, 4, 5 inch push laterally, but as you saw in the other views, you got the rotation, very quick rotation. So when he's hitting the ball, obviously both cheeks showing, pushed forward. That's what I call the 45-degree drive. Boom. So you also got to love the fact that when that club gets during the swing, that it really stays on the plane at the top as well. Now, one thing that I might suggest, if I was suggesting, and he seems to do all right without my suggestions, but if I was suggesting, one of the things he struggles with sometimes is driving the ball accurately, and what I would say is with a swing that's this good, that when you come down, you would be able to, if you felt like it, to aim the right forearm not as high. So in other words, if the hands start down here, what I would choose to do would be to see if I could get the club to return on the shaft plane. Now the reason that I would choose to do that is that it's my belief that the wrist action required to hit a golf ball is easier when the hands aren't coming in from higher than they started. So from a normal address position, if I draw the shaft line up, it goes pretty much right through his belly button. So if he could get his forearm down on that plane, I think he would have an easier time delivering the club face to the ball squarely. When the higher the hands come in, the more the left wrist right here has to turn down to reach the ball, and that complicates the squaring action of the club. But everything else, as far as the rotation, pivot movement, plane lines, and sequencing, is just mint. So you're not going to get a whole lot better than Anthony Kim. I expect him to do great going forward and to eventually win some majors.